Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, it's really early morning right now and the only thing that makes noises is the African grey across the street. So I guess it's the perfect time to make a video, and today we're gonna do some orchid updates. Now part of these orchids were requested by you wanted to see how they are doing, but part of them are just stuff that I want to update and have a entry in my diary, if you will, the diary of my orchid growing. So without further ado, let us start the update. So let's start with the Dimorphorchis orchids. I know one of you really wanted to see the Dimorphorchis lowi, which I have for a few months already. But I own two Dimorphorchis orchids, and that's a bit of a tongue twister. So this is the rose seed that I recently received, and this is my old lowi. And as you can see, there is a bit of a difference size-wise. Now the lowi was slightly bigger to begin with, but it grew a little this summer, I feel. Definitely this leaf elongated itself, and also the newest leaf was not here when I received it. And as you can see, there is a little bit of a damage spot on the tip. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'm not sure if it happened on transport or afterwards. When I saw it, I thought, okay, crown rot, that's it. Let's see if this orchid survives, but no, as you can see, the rest of the leaf is perfectly fine. So at this point, I'm not cutting the damage just yet because it is not advancing. So chances are the orchid managed to seal this area by itself, so I'm not gonna mess around with it too much. The orchid is doing great, and let's take a look at the roots because we have it in a clear pot. And there is a little bit of water in the reservoir. So let me try to show you this. No, it's not gonna work. So let's see. There we go. On the bottom, the roots are growing quite nicely. I don't have any issues with roots being in the reservoir on this orchid. They seem to do pretty great, and they're finding their way. And as expected, this orchid grows pretty wet in semi-hydro and is doing quite fine. Now, given both of these orchids are seedlings and young plants generally require more water than adult plants, but so far so good in semi-hydro, we shall see in the future. But for now, they are both looking pretty okay. This guy didn't do much, but he's very recent to my collection, and I also repotted it, all of those things. But the lowi is doing quite fine. So half a year done, 5.5 more to go. Another one of you wanted to see the Neophoenicia / Vanda fulcata, and there she is. No blooms. This orchid blooms in the springtime generally. I think she could bloom in the autumn, but it's pretty rare. But yeah, no blooms for me. If you remember last spring, I saw a little nubbin and I thought, yes, finally it's a flower spike, and it turned out to be another fan. Yeah, I love this orchid so much. It's okay. Some of you guys commented that she still doesn't look very mature considering the number of leaves she has. This orchid is a miniature, so I'm not expecting her to be tall, but I do think she's still kind of young. Maybe next year we're gonna have some blooms, hopefully. When I purchased her, she was a lot smaller than this. She grew up quite a lot. And right now she's in active growth. I see a root tip developing here, and she has been transferred to semi-hydro. Yeah, many of my orchids have been transferred. I don't know, I kind of like it. And they kind of like it as well, so what the hey. So she seems to have taken the move pretty well. And as far as growth is concerned, I have no issue. She's growing multiple fans. Also, the existing fans are getting bigger and bigger, but yeah, I would really love to have some blooms. Hopefully next spring. Please, Neo, please. Or would you prefer to be called Vanda? Maybe that's the problem. Next up, this is my Bulbophyllum echinolabium, which I purchased earlier this year. He's doing pretty great. He grew in my care this pseudobulb right here, which as you can see is not super tiny compared to the previous one, but the leaves are a little bit different, so we can do better than that. However, it's the first pseudobulb created in my care. It needed to get adjusted to my environment and to the pot and everything else, so at this point I'm not really upset with him. Quotation marks. I'm not upset with my orchids, it's just a joke. And furthermore, he seems to really like semi-hydro. Let's see, I saw a tiny little root just growing here. These orchids create pretty shallow roots, so sometimes it can be quite hard to see them at the bottom of the medium through the drainage holes, but if you have a transparent pot, obviously you can see them. He will be transferred to a different pot pretty soon, but right now I don't have too many issues with the pot he is in. I do, however, have a lot of issues with the color white. I seem to have purchased all of the white pots in my area, or actually should I say town. If I want to find any more white pots, particularly tiny ones, I think I'm gonna have to go to a different city. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow or Monday, we're gonna film a video with some orchid seedlings that I really need to repot. Now is the time, and I don't have white tiny pots, so yeah, I bought colored pots, but hopefully they're good colors. So yeah, what can you do? I admit defeat, and we're just gonna have some colored pots as well. In the end, the orchids are more important than my aesthetics, but yeah, I think in time I will... Ooh. Wow. They had some real issues. What was I saying? I don't even remember. So, bottom line, yeah, I'm forced to incorporate some other colors in my growing space, but the colored pots probably will go on my white shelves. And yeah, I think that shall be better. But let's return to the Bulbophyllum. He's doing great, and he is growing a tiny new growth right there, as you can see. Oh, he also matured in my care. Well, matured, I'm not sure. This tiny little growth right here, which sprouted from a very old bulb. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it to get large, but this one looks quite great, and he's working on a new one. He's doing perfectly fine. Alrighty, next up we have the Cattleya Dowiana variety Rosita. This is a seedling Cattleya, and I have a few more seedlings, so we're gonna work on all of these babies, I think on Monday or maybe Tuesday, not entirely sure, I'm gonna see about that. But let's just take a look and see how she's doing. She was not in the greatest shape when I received her, and as you can see, she produced two very tiny new growths. But you know what? That's okay, because look at this. Ta-da, we have a root. And by the way, all of these things that you see, they're not on the root, they're algae deposits. So yeah, the root doesn't have any deposits, it's just on the glass, or actually the jar here. So here we go, we do have at least one super good looking root and maybe more in the pot. So I'm not entirely upset about the state of the new pseudobulbs. She has time to grow. I have patience to wait now. I have other projects to tend to, so I can wait with the seedlings. And she's a Dowiana, oh my goodness. I think every Cattleya orchid lover wants this orchid, so you know what, I'm not complaining. When I received her, she had a black rot attack on this leaf, so I was forced to cut it, and also she didn't have any good roots. She used to have roots, but they didn't really make it on transport, or something happened in the meantime. So I'm really happy that everything is going okay. What I did with this one was just potted in semi-hydro. Oh, I see another root at the top here. So what I did was I just plugged her in semi-hydro and maintained the pot pretty wet. It was pretty easy to maintain, even the top slightly moist, because it's not a tall pot. And I made sure that the reservoir didn't go very bone dry before I watered her. And that's pretty much it. Everything you see, the root production and everything, happened in this jar. I didn't even make an ICU for her, so yeah, pretty hardy little orchid. She's doing great right now, and she is one of the six, yeah, overall Cattleya seedlings that I own. Can you believe it? Me, seedlings. It's a miracle. Alrighty, so now let me just show you the two happiest orchids in my collection. And they just so happen to be two dendrobiums. This is Dendrobium jenkinsey crossed with Aggregatum. And I'm not sure if this angle is okay. Looky here, look at this guy, oh my goodness. Now, for the longest time, by the way, I purchased this guy around this time last year. And for the longest time, maybe 6 months, he was looking so sad. All of these pseudobulbs were really shriveled. Mind you, this orchid does tend to have ridges on the pseudobulbs. They don't look super plump necessarily, but they shouldn't really look like leaves either. So last year and at the beginning of this year, he looked horrible, and then I moved him to semi-hydro. Yet again, I maintained the top pretty damp because I potted him in a very shallow pot, and now he has been transplanted into this white square pot, which I really like. And look at him, look at the pseudobulbs. I was not aware that this orchid could have these plump pseudobulbs. So this is the new pseudobulb that he created, and he's looking great. The roots are there. I really don't need to see the roots to know they're there. Look how plump he is. So pretty nice recovery. While he was really shriveled, he produced this new growth, and as you can see, the leaf didn't even develop properly. The tip was really weird looking. but the new growth this year looks really, really good. So yeah, this is one of the happiest orchids in my collection. And I don't mean happy as in, yeah, this guy's happy, he's doing okay. No, he's happy. He's overly happy. He might need to chill down at this point. See what I did there? Chill down, because he needs a chill kind of in the winter. He needs a winter rest, which should be cool. I don't know. I tried to make a joke. And the second happiest orchid in my collection, I don't think you'll ever guess who this guy is. Or maybe if I show you the top. There we go. This is the Dendrobium cyrale helix, which I purchased at the same time with the Aggregatum and the Jenkinsey cross. And again, pretty much identical stories. For the longest time, maybe 6 months or more, he didn't really do anything, and I had him in my old setup. And this summer I decided I would put him in a shallow pot, semi-hydro, yet again, exactly the same thing as the other Dendrobium. Looky here what happened. These are not keikis, these are new growths, which are starting from the base. The old cane plumped up, it was really, really shriveled. If you remember in the springtime, he created massive blooms. And what I actually mean by that is a lot of spikes. I don't know why I said that. I didn't have all of my coffee just yet. It's 6:30 in the morning. It did the job. This orchid is producing new growth, new roots. I was so worried about him. I thought he had a serious issue. He was not growing any new growth. Everything that he was trying to grow, like nubbins, were not developing, and he was just making flower spikes continuously. And I thought, well, okay, I'm just gonna see a few flowers and then bye-bye. But no, look at this guy, amazing. So he took very well to semi-hydro, he actually really liked it, and the new growths just look very, very yummy. And yes, they're not perfect. You can see the leaves are a little bendy here and there. The new growth started before the roots. So at the beginning, they weren't looking super great, but things are straightening out, and just look how glossy they are and how green and beautiful they are. So yeah, I'm so happy about this guy. He's doing well, he's not gonna die, although I really thought I would lose him. But what's an update video without the bad stuff, yeah? Well, do you know who this guy is? Probably you do, because you see the tag. Yeah, it's Dendrobium Victoria Reginae. Now, these guys are supposed to be deciduous, and he decidued away this cane, but the cane is still plump. The new growths, however, which he grew this year, I don't know what happened to them. They completely desiccated for whatever weird reason. I cannot explain this. However, at the base you can see he is growing tiny new growths. So what I intend to do with this guy is pretty much what I did with the other Dendrobiums. Unpot him. These roots are still good. They're just aerial. They don't get hydration. Not entirely sure what's happening in the pot because it's covered with algae. So yeah. So I will transfer him to semi-hydro, and I hope he's gonna have the same fate as the other Dendrobiums. But it's just a mystery. I have no idea what happened. I'm not entirely sure if it's the summer temperatures, but I don't know. Maybe he had a disease, an infection or something. The old pseudobulb obviously is still okay, and you can see is plump, is not dehydrated, and is creating new growth. But these new growths, something attacked them, something happened. So yeah, sad story with the Victoria Reginae, but I think there's still hope. I'll give it my best because I really, really like this orchid. And the second saddest orchid in my collection has to be the Nellie Eiler. It's not just any Nellie Eiler, it's the red one. She's the last one standing. I lost all the other ones, and I also lost the Miltoniopsis. Funny, huh? So yeah, I think somebody asked me about the Miltoniopsis. They didn't make it. But with the Miltoniopsis, I feel like I want to try with another one and put it directly into semi-hydro. In the end, they kind of tried to do something in semi-hydro, but they depleted before the roots started to grow too much. The roots started, I had root tips, I was happy, but then you know how it is. Once they go on a downwards path, you cannot really stop them. Nellie Eilers, I feel they're even worse. So maybe I didn't have the proper individuals, but I don't think so. I think it was just the way I grew them, and I don't think I want to buy any more. Nellie Eiler is one of my favorites. I currently have a different favorite, but it's one of my favorites. I will always dream of having one, but I don't think it's possible in my climate unless I make a special room, a special grow room just for the really cool growers. But, you know, costs a lot of money in the summertime when there's 40 degrees Celsius outside. She's not looking good. This is a new growth that is flopping over. Not a good sign. I don't know. I still water her and care for her, but no. It's not working, you guys. So honestly, I don't feel like buying any more Nelly Eilers or Miltoniopsis. With Miltoniopsis, maybe if I see a very, very healthy one, I'll try it with one, and just putting her in semi-hydro directly. And we'll just see how it goes, but no, sadly, they're not for me in my climate. And there we go, this was the update for today. And as you can see, super early morning, 20 degrees Celsius in my greenhouse. It's not necessarily what you'd call middle of autumn if you'd live further up, right? So yeah, it's still pretty warm. I don't mind it, but cool growers kind of do mind this extended summertime. But hey, what can you do? You cannot grow it all. That's that. Maybe in the future, who knows? But for the next years, probably no, we're not gonna have them. And for those of you who can grow them in your climate, yay, good for you. I'm sad, but it's okay. Yeah, that's that. Shall not be purchasing Nelly Eilers anymore. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have other requests for orchids you didn't see in a long time, just leave me a comment down below, and the next time we're gonna update you on them. And you know the drill. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchids and plants videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye! So do you guys remember that I used to have some Paphiopedilum buds that I was excited about? Well, this is the no ID one, and guess what? He decided to just give up on his bud. You see there? It's brown, it's done. He's not gonna bloom anymore. So yeah, he is growing a new fan, but you know, that doesn't really warm me up. So at this point I'm thinking maybe I should just give up Paphiopedilums. But then again, maybe not. Because guess who decided he will try to bloom? This is the Paphiopedilum Maugier Green. He has beautiful green and white flowers. I didn't see this guy in a lot of time in bloom, so I'm pretty excited about that. And wait, there's more. This is the Paphiopedilum American Hybrid, one of the easiest hybrids you can have. And there we go, we have a little bud coming from this guy as well. And actually, I will make an update on all of my Paphiopedilums and Phragmipediums pretty soon, because I'm pretty sure you're curious to see how they're doing. A little spoiler, things are not bad. I think this is the only sad news I had from the Paphiopedilum side. I don't know why he decided to just give up on his bud, but yeah, pretty sad. But he is growing a new fan, so we'll see, maybe the next fan.